evening, everybody. Here we are, all prepared, no technical dramas. I mean, it starts
We
well.
should point out we were panicking a little bit because everything was working.
That's yeah.
Yeah,
At least we were panicking about that. So maybe we jinxed it because we were so well prepared. So now everything will probably fall down in pieces. But welcome. Today we've got a pretty filled show again. We'll see where it goes, as always. And maybe it's just best to start off with a couple of news of the week items. A lot of things happened last week, over the last week, and I think there is a lot to talk about, to be honest. So let me start throwing Eurovision Song Contest in here. Yeah, it's
Okay, explain to me because
yes.
when we lived in England, Eurovision was just this really cheesy, like everybody made fun of it, nobody took it seriously, and
I know.
it was just something that
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. I totally understand where you're coming from, and I will try and explain it. And I'm not. I mean, I'm not trying to convince you that it's cool, but I'll explain. I'll explain why I have changed my mind a little bit about it. And there are a couple of things actually that caused that. Let's see if, by the way, just for a moment, if Edwin's there. Maybe not. Well, sound and everything should be okay, I think. I think we are live. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Eurovision Song Contest. When I was a kid, this was something really special. It was sent over. We had just two channels on the television in Holland, and there was nothing much. You couldn't even watch Belgium or Germany. That came later, and then you had Eurovision. So you had this Eurovision thing going on, and it was just something cool, just because it was.
Do you know what else was cool back in those days? Lucky DeLeo.
Yeah, Lucky the Leo. Yeah, that was cool too. And of course, Thunderbirds, which we will we will talk about that later because really fun. Giorgio is now really into that, and
yeah.
that
Okay,
makes me
cool.
so happy. I was almost crying. Anyway, let me start by trying to explain this Eurovision thing. So that was it. Then the actual content was really corny and really not that good because the songs were all pretty bad. But then back then most songs were pretty bad, so it was still okay. Then we went into the time where the songs went even worse than they were before, and it was totally detached from reality. Really, there was music in all its forms, and pop music and rock music and everything, and you could love or hate it. And then there was nothing for a while, and then you've got Eurovision music because it was too stupid for words, really, and nobody really liked it. Also, the shows themselves were bad. It was cringeworthy.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't watch it for a long period. But some people around me still liked it for some reason. So I did see some parts of it or heard about it, or and it was still bad. Then we got to the point where all the new Russian countries um, came aboard, like Estland, Letland, Litauen, Lithuania. What were the English words for it? And then it seemed like it wasn't fair anymore because apparently Europe thought that these countries needed a boost, and let's all have them win the Eurovision Song Contest, or at least that is what it looked like. The songs were terrible. Really weird things, Lordy and stuff, guys with masks shouting.
Well,
It was.
I remember there was one that was like a guy who was a girl who was a guy
Yeah,
or something
the
from
the bearded
Greece.
uh, the bearded woman, Conchita Wurst, and then
Yeah, the worst.
it became yeah, she didn't, I don't know if she still had a Wurst, but
What?
anyway, Conchita without a Wurst, I don't know. Anyway, so that was not, it was totally not my thing, and I just hated it. Then it became about the gay and trans community. So
Yeah.
it was especially, well, it looked like it was especially for them. So everything was about that. So it was only for gay people, or at least that's what it looked like. And it was only for trans people, and everything was sort of focused on that. And I don't have anything against that, but I'm not specifically gonna watch that because, I don't really care about that. So, and the songs were still bad. So that's where we all still agree. Then, 2 or 3 years ago, it seemed like it turned a little bit because the quality of the music became a little bit more to normal, to poppy music. And Oscar's camera is completely off now suddenly. I don't know what happened.
I can see him.
Oh, there he's back again. Yeah, I can see him, but the format was completely off. Now it's back again. Anyway, so it became slowly a little bit better. And then I started watching it again, mainly because my significant other wanted to watch it, and I was sort of like a supportive watcher because she liked it so much to just watch that. And then the game, the points and everything, it was sort of entertaining, and it wasn't cringy anymore, or at least I thought it wasn't. So that part went away, so it was for me watchable. And if you just change your mindset, it was actually pretty fun to watch. But then we come to the main point. The last Eurovision Song Contest, which was 2 years ago because of the whole Corona thing, the Dutch won. And I didn't like the song, but who cares? We won. And that meant that we now had to, last year, but it became this year, we had to make the show. And it was in Rotterdam.
So Holland was hosting this year.
Holland was hosting and Rotterdam was hosting. So
you're
and the whole thing that made it obviously a lot more interesting to watch it because
and it was to understand.
Yes, exactly. And it was, I think, if you see the show, how they put it on, the presenters, everything. I wasn't. Normally, you're worried about that because you think, oh my God, the Dutch are gonna do this, and how are we gonna look? And but there was none of that because it was all smooth, professional, funny, but really funny. In exactly the right way, so that I mean it's difficult, to be funny for all of Europe because there's always a country that doesn't think it's funny. So it's a really difficult balance that you have to find in everything, and I think they hit that perfectly.
Okay.
So I was actually proud of the Dutch being able to pull it off. And I was even more proud, obviously, because it was Rotterdam, and they used Rotterdam as a backdrop for a lot of the special shows and stuff.
Okay.
They did something about water. Davina Michel, which I think is a brilliant singer, and she did a really good show with water. And we had in the actual finals, we had Dutch artists on the Erasmus Bridge, with the story thing with trams going through the streets with lightning on top of their pantographs and stuff like that. It was just, you have to see it. You probably can find stuff on YouTube. Just watch, and I think you'll agree that it looked great. And it was.
Where did Holland come this year?
Sorry?
Where did Holland come this year? What?
Oh, lost because the song was terrible. But you don't want to win twice in a row, obviously. So that was not a thing at all. The song was absolutely terrible. It's like I don't like broccoli or something. So you have to. Maybe I'll put a link because it wasn't very good.
So good production quality, good appeal to everyone in Europe. Terrible song.
Yes, but then again, you don't want to do this twice in a row, so that's fine.
Okay.
The thing is that some of the songs were bad, some were better. The winners I didn't like at all, but that's the way it goes. Most of Europe liked it, so
now,
that's fine.
We have to talk about the winner.
Yes, I know what you're gonna say.
We have to talk about the fact that he appeared to be doing a line of cocaine on TV.
Yes. He appeared to, because it has been proven that it was not a line of coke, and he was tested. And I mean,
what's he doing?
Right after the show, they in like there was a Dutch how do you say it, like talk show, and people were coming over directly from the Eurovision Song Contest into that show. So the presenters came over, one of the Dutch entry and the Greek entry, which was Dutch, which was a lot better, obviously, than the real Dutch entry in many respects. Many respects, yeah.
So okay, that also explains why you kept having all that stuff about Greece last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. That's a Dutch girl with Greek parents who lives in Utrecht. And the song was actually pretty good. It was real poppy and you know, it's like a dance song. So I liked that a lot. And I think she was, for me, that song and that performance was in the top 5 of songs I think that were great. And obviously because it was a Dutch girl, and I said everybody should vote that song, obviously. But so that was the thing. But the Italian guy looked like because they played that and they said, oh, it looks like he's doing that. And then I thought, yeah, well, okay, maybe it happens, but are you gonna do that live on television? You know, it would be extremely stupid. Even if you are a rock band and you wanna, you know, create stories, it would be, or either he purposely made it look like it to create a riot or create something. Yeah. But then again, what are you going to win with that? So I didn't really understand that. Then it was too short. I mean, from people I know, they say it takes longer to sniff a line of coke. I wouldn't know, obviously, but it was too short. And there were some things about it which made me wonder if it was really the case. But obviously it was blown up. TikTok was full of it. Everything was full of that. And then they said, okay, totally not. We're going to do a test. Okay. I don't know if the if tests like that are always 100%. I don't know. But everything together, the way it happened, would somebody do that? If you look at it, you know, it's probably not. I didn't think so. And then they said, and that made it a lot more plausible. So whoever came up with that is brilliant, probably. There was broken glass on the floor. Somebody pulled over or kicked over a glass, and the glass was broken. And he was sort of looking at that glass like, what am I going to do with this? And okay, I don't know. It could have been the case. So I still don't know. We probably will never know what happened. But if I had to choose, I would think that he did not do it.
Wasn't dumb enough.
Now, I would, if I had to, you know, with a gun in my head say, okay, what is it? I would say no. I think he didn't do it.
Okay.
But
the point where I think it gets a bit dark is that he first had to travel back to Italy to do the dope test.
Yeah.
So then if he really wanted to make sure that it was a fair test, he should have done it here in the Netherlands.
Well, there we go. Now we can talk about this for a couple of hours probably, because that's true. You know, this is sort of like, why did he need to do that? Then again, maybe he does coke because Italian he's a rock star, Italian rock star. So maybe he had coke before the show, but he didn't sniff a line during the show, and that makes it a bit different, because then the fact that he sniffed, then he can say, okay, I did not do that, but he might have been tested positive on coke anyway. So maybe he said, okay, let's I don't know. You know, we'll probably never.
So it just spirals and spirals.
It spirals and spirals, and it gets worse. I don't know. I didn't like the song. I you know, and a lot of people said the same thing. It's still a strange thing, you know. And then you've got the whole situation, and I think we need to talk about that too, where for the first round of votes and points is like a jury of peers, so people that know about music. So each country has 3 or 4 people, and they decide which country has the most points, and that's the first round they do. And it's always the case that the countries on top are then not the countries that win the actual contest, because after that the public can give their points and votes, and that throws everything around normally, which was the same now. I think technically, musically, France and Switzerland were probably the best songs there. And they're beautiful songs, well sung, but maybe too good for a song festival, Eurovision Song Contest. I don't know. It's just like the jury of peers thought they were the best songs, and I think they were the best songs, but they were not for me either. I would not vote them to win the contest. Sounds strange, but I would like a poppy song, a song that makes me more happy, or something else, like the song from Stefania, or there were 2 or 3 others. The Ukraine song, I really love the Ukraine song. I don't know if you know it, but it's weird. And when I first saw it, I was like, okay. But then now I can't get it out of my head. It's in my head already. Anyway,
I have tried to explain the Eurovision Song Contest to people here in America. It doesn't translate well.
No, I can understand. It is a typical European thing, I think. I think it is. I think Americans will not understand this, and maybe they don't have to. It's a European thing. The whole thing is, European. I can't say anything else about it.
Well, I mean that's like trying to explain Jeux sans frontières to anyone over here.
Yeah.
The objective is to make a fool of yourself on live TV on these obstacle courses that are ridiculous.
That's also a European thing, and I say as European, like that. And I don't particularly like these shows, but it's something I grew up with when I was a kid, and especially back then when there was no internet, no satellite TV. That was something that the whole family.
You only had two TV channels.
Yeah, and then something European, which was broadcasted European wide, with people calling in, with the old, bakelet phone thing, and they were just like, it was a technical wonder back in those days that they could pull off a show like that, and that was just. And that you take that with you, and that feeling stays. I don't know what it is. So I think it will probably die out in this form. The form has changed over the years a little bit, but I think it probably will die out because kids nowadays won't understand that and won't have that same feeling. Probably, I don't know. But
so in summary, popular because it was in Rotterdam and Holland.
Yeah,
Holland came last.
Yeah,
the winner was not doing a line of coke.
That was okay. Next subject. Now
what I heard was indeed the last thing to say about it. I think that actually more often the Dutch guys are making the show, so they are really somehow good at the stage and lighting and graphics, etc. So, and I also heard that actually the Swiss song was made by a Dutch composer.
Yeah.
So
a lot of songs were made by Dutch composers.
So
I don't know. I mean,
somehow we are very good in the Eurovision Vision Song Contest. Yeah.
Well, we haven't won for 44 years before Duncan Lawrence won, so maybe we were not that good. I mean, we sent the toppers with LED suits, and it was. That was
were not working. Yeah,
that was cringeworthy. So it's a whole history. What would be probably, we could probably do a show of an hour, just play back the history of the song contest, play back some of the songs, talk about it, because and I'm pretty sure that people that watch that will sort of understand more what it's all about. But okay. Anyway, let's go to another
different channel.
A different channel, but really important, Formula 1.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because I was so happy for almost everybody.
I was happy for Max. I was surprised at what happened at Ferrari.
Yeah.
Given how hard he hit the wall, I would have thought they would have changed the gearbox and the drive axles and the suspension.
Okay, we can talk about this, because I was wondering about that too. Okay. Okay. So first of all,
Max is now leading the championship.
Max is and that's good, and we're not there yet. I mean, Mercedes will come back, and it's still only a 20% chance that he actually becomes a world champion. I think, if Mercedes keeps up their work and being the fastest car, or maybe if Red Bull really finds something to improve their speed. I don't know. That's a whole different, a whole separate discussion. But at least he is playing for the win, and he is now ahead. So that's cool. He did a really solid, smart, controlled race. Like Hamilton normally does, because he didn't overdrive. There was actually some headroom left, I think, because what you saw is that he kept for Bottas first. Let's talk about Bottas too. Bottas first, and then Sainz. He had them into. Well, Bottas was within 2 or 1 seconds. Sainz was 3 or 4 seconds, and then when they came that close, then he started accelerating again to widen the gap.
To keep the gap.
So he was just trying to drive as fast as he needed to, which I think was brilliant. So it looked. I wasn't really worried, you know. Of course, something can break or something can happen. I was worried about a red flag or something, and something weird happening, because Max has some sort of jinx about that something weird happens when he is in front. But that all went fine. So the race was cool. Monaco is cool. Max won it without any drama. You know, it was just a solid win. And the podium was great because there were other guys there than normally, and that's just fun. And the way they. Also, what I like is, and I don't know how long that'll last, but right now the way they react to each other and like they're friendly and they're making fun, which is so good to see, and it makes it so much more fun to watch. Yeah. Obviously, I don't know, you know, when the stakes are really high if that stays that way, but now it looks really cool. So for me, it was a really relaxing race, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. But now to come back to your point.
It was nice to see Lando Norris up on the top, and it was nice to see them do the old golf paint scheme.
Yeah.
So I like that. Oh.
Yeah. When I heard that, I always said I like that in any race car. That is the most iconic race livery, you know, that I've seen, and there are many cars. The GT40, Ford GT40 had a couple, I think, and then Porsche did a couple. I don't know. There are some cars that had that livery, and that's just great. And that they choose that livery for me was also great. So probably we need to buy a model car of that specific Monaco race from McLaren, because you probably just need to have that as it's great.
But do you know from Tak Oyer, the Monaco watch? Yeah. They also have a Gulf edition.
I've seen that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I know. So yeah, that was another thing. That was really great too. So it all, you know, it ticked a lot of boxes the whole weekend, and I enjoyed it.
So Ferrari didn't want to give up first place because they would have taken 5 grid points if they changed the gearbox and the drive shafts.
Yeah.
Gamble left all the parts on the car.
Yeah.
Do you think Leclerc had any say in that?
It could be just a wrong. It could be simple, and it could be a wrong gamble. It could have been that they thought, okay, finally we've got Leclerc on pole position. After all his bad luck, it's his home race. We really need him to win this. But what about the car? We'll check it. Everything looks fine. Do we know for sure? Well, you only know it for sure probably with X-rays and just changing out stuff. But if you change out stuff, we go back in place. We don't want to do that. Okay, let's make this call. You know, hands up. Who says, maybe it's something like that. Who says, let's just, you know, all or nothing. Let's just try it and see what happens. And who says, no, this is definitely not a good thing. And probably they said, well, this is a one in a lifetime chance. Let's just try it, and we can't see anything wrong with the car. It seems like, and they were worried about the gearbox, but I think the drive shaft was where the problem was.
The drive shaft, yeah.
So that's another thing, I don't know, but maybe that happened. So that's one story, and they just didn't have the luck, and they took the gamble and they lost. And then you can think of many other things that might have happened. Maybe their car maybe they were fast because of another reason. Maybe they had something on that car that wasn't reglementary. Maybe they didn't want to have the risk, but they didn't want to tell Leclerc about that, and they just played it like this, and they knew that it was gonna fail, and they had to do it for another reason. I don't know. It's far-fetched. But
what was interesting was when he crashed, that was almost the exact same crash that Max had 2 years ago. Where he trimmed the inside corner.
Exactly.
It took the steering off, and then he bounced the curb and hit.
It's exactly the same, and I think 2 or 3 others have done exactly the same thing too. There's something about that corner which makes it difficult to sort of see where exactly you have to place that right front wheel, and a mistake is made easily. And when you just hit that rail even slightly, you just bump off, and then you're gone. It's gone. Then you're.
Did you see some of the slow motion replays of some of the other cars where they were so close you couldn't get a playing card between the wall and the tire?
Centimeter or less. It was and it's fine. But if you are 1 centimeter more to the right, you just get that little bump, and it throws the balance out of the car. And in that corner with that speed, that's just, and probably the way the road is angled. There's something about that corner, that chicane, really, that makes it impossible to recover. So I don't know. I mean, Leclerc is a really good driver. I'm not a big fan of him, but I can't tell you why. It's just I don't know why. I don't.
He's French.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know. It might be just that. There's something about him that I don't like. But people are gonna probably shoot me because. But okay, that's just my opinion. But obviously, this was very bad for him, and you don't. I didn't want him to happen. I mean, but
Ferrari said right at the beginning of the season they're not really. They don't think they can win this year. They're concentrating on everything on the new car for next year. So maybe that's why they took the gamble. They're like, if he races and wins, that's great. If he races and the car blows up, we really didn't lose anything.
No.
Except for Leclerc at his home race, it's like, guys, you screwed me.
Yeah. Okay, that's another thing. Does he feel like that? Maybe he was into that whole gamble. Maybe he was part of the team that said, let's go for it or let's not go for it. Maybe we will see that. Maybe we will hear about it, but maybe we won't. And then it's just one of these things. And then you have to think, and that's the only thing that might be, but that's racing, but still, what would have happened if Leclerc had started pole position?
Yeah.
Would Max have won?
Yeah.
I still think yes.
I too, because of their strategy, their pit strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he would have had more speed and could have driven longer the first stint.
Exactly.
So he would have taken over after the pit stop.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was kind of a procession for a race. Monaco normally is, but it's nice to see the way it came out in the end.
Yeah. Okay. One thing that I also think we need to talk about, and maybe all of our other subjects will now just shift to next week. Hamilton.
Okay. Princess Louise.
Princess Louise.
Yeah. He has fallen through the basket, as we say in Dutch. He has shown his real feathers, or what do you call it in English? I mean, this is exactly what I always thought about Hamilton. It's easy to be big-hearted from his high horse when he wins everything, and then he is. I don't know the right wording for it, especially not in English, but it's almost annoying. The way he, like a king or a princess, tells how it is, and then starts to say, "Yeah, but Max did a really good race, and I like the the challenge, and I like that we're in a fight. And he says that, but he doesn't mean it because he hates it. It's just the way he plays the crowd, which is fine. I mean, it's just part of his job probably. But when we discussed before, if for some reason he's not in the lead, there's always something wrong. He starts complaining. These tires are not going to make it to the end. Guys, what are you doing? Why do I have to come in? Guys, I'm not going to... He's always panicking if he's not in that controlling position. So that's a bit of a thing. And then he's always like, the wind...
He's not very good at overtaking.
No, that's another thing.
Even when it's not Monaco, he's not great at overtaking.
No.
Like, he will always complain, I can't get close to the car in front, I can't overtake. And there's other people on the same track at the same time overtaking people. And he's always the one that's complaining.
And that makes you... Yeah, I agree totally. And that's because he has no experience in overtaking because he's always in the lead. And then the next question is he really that good a driver? And then you can go to... I mean... It's easy to be a great driver if you are a very good driver and have the best car 7 years in a row of the whole Formula 1 field and are always in front. It's easy to then become the best driver ever, but is it really?
I mean, the thing that cast all of this into a new perspective was when they let George Russell drive his car.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, in this race, I felt bad for Bottas again because that problem with his wheel during the pit stop, that wasn't something that happened in the pit stop. That happened when they put the wheel on before the race, when they stripped the thread. Yeah. And then it was just a matter of time before someone tried to take it off and the whole thing failed.
Yeah. The whole thing, they had to take it back to the factory. Did you hear it? They couldn't get it off. I mean, they had to...
I mean, they're lucky that it went that way because if you strip a bolt on an axle, one of two things happens. It either goes on so tight that you can't get it off, or it comes off on its own.
Yeah, it could have been much worse.
They're lucky that it's stuck on, that it didn't come off and throw the wheel off at speed.
I agree. Yeah, but it is okay. I mean, what is happening here? Because Bottas. Okay, we had this thing, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. We had this Russell thing where apparently the Mercedes gods or Hamilton or whatever did not want Russell to be that good. So they did something to sort of sabotage that. I feel very positive that that's what happened in some way or form. But then you've got Bottas. I mean, is it really bad luck? Or are they actively trying to do something? But why would they? I mean, there's no reason for them.
What you have to understand in Formula 1 is there's two different sets of engineers. Yeah. So there's the one team, but there's the engineers and the team that work for Bottas, and there's the engineers and the team that work for Hamilton. If you were to tell all the engineers that work for Bottas, by the way, we need you to sabotage his car continuously, they wouldn't do it.
No. So that's I agree. So that's not.
I think it's just bad luck. Yeah. Because drivers get this. I mean, look at Alonso when he was working for Renault. Yeah. Just bad luck after bad luck after engine failure after suspension failure after bad luck.
Yeah.
It just happens.
It just happens. Yeah. I think that. Yeah, I agree. I think that is what it is. It's unbelievable, and it's difficult for Bottas with the pressure he is on already. It's like, how are you gonna, what are you gonna do? Or maybe it. Yeah, I don't know. Could it be that it lifts a little bit of pressure off of him because if he doesn't become world champion. He can now easily say, well, it's not me, it's the team.
I think Bottas knows Hamilton's true self. Yeah. So I think he knows, given the right set of circumstances, I can always win and Hamilton will always fail, but the circumstances don't seem to ever go his way.
No.
But then Mercedes make these massive mistakes,
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
in I can't remember the race last year, but
Yep.
where they completely screwed up
Yep.
Hamilton's pit stop.
Yep.
They brought him in 2 laps too
Yeah.
late,
They,
and
they
everybody just looked at it and went, Mercedes, what are you
yeah,
doing?
and it's weird because they're like really good on top and everything is running smoothly, and then 1 or 2 races each season they totally fuck up, and not a
It's
little bit, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
goes
yeah.
horribly wrong.
Yeah,
There's nothing in between.
It's
yeah,
no,
they're very binary.
Yeah.
They're either
Well,
full
the
on or
Germans.
they're full off.
Yeah.
It's like a light switch. The,
Yeah.
the whole team is either switched on
Yeah.
or they're
Or
all in
off.
bed.
Yeah. Exactly.
no.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it looks like. Yes. Anyway, it's I recently came upon a podcast that I find very interesting. It's called now One Nation or Nation One. It's on Spotify, and it's let me say the right thing. It's Damon Hill, um, and 2 or 3 other guys, and last week they had Jackie Stewart calling in, and they're talking about the races, and it's really interesting to listen to that. It's called One Nation or Nation One or something like that, and it's really interesting because they they talk about it like we do, but with a lot more knowledge.
Yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah. So that's really good.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'll
So,
put the link down below later. But okay, so
shall
Formula
we
One.
pick another topic?
Yes, I was gonna go to another topic. Let's skip the thing that we had on Chrome and just go through to the air tags thing now
Tags.
for now, because I
Yeah.
think we need to go there. Let me get the right thingy dingy. See if I can do that. Yes, I can. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, there we go. Okay, you've got the floor. Air
Let's
tags.
see then. So air tags, I guess we know what they are. I guess most people know what they are now. So this is an Apple AirTag, which is wonderfully out of focus. There you
There
go.
it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So they're these tiny little things that you can attach. I have a little luggage strap for mine that I use. So I decided to do a little experiment. I wanted to see if it does what Apple says it does, and a lot of other people have done this online. But what I did was I took this out on a cycle path, and I just left it in the bushes next to the cycle path.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't obvious. You couldn't see it obviously from the cycle path. And then I just left it, and I cycled away, and I waited to see what would happen.
Yes.
And then about 15 minutes later, I got a notification on my phone that said your AirTag has been spotted at this location.
Okay.
And about 10 minutes later, I got another notification, and about every 15 minutes through the day, I got a notification saying that this AirTag was at this location.
Wow.
And what it means is that every 15 minutes or so, someone was close enough to it with an iPhone that their iPhone registered the tag, registered the location of the phone, and attached the 2 pieces of information together. And then my phone said, "Oh, your tag is here."
Yeah. Cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
So that's exactly.
I left it outside. I left it outside for 3 or 4 days. It doesn't look new anymore, but that's fine. But yeah, it was, overnight, nothing because no one was there. But during the daytime, every 10 or 15 minutes, I got a notification on my phone. The notifications on the phone, let me have a look, because these are kind of interesting, because it doesn't give you any information about the person who found it. It doesn't give you any information about their phone, obviously because of privacy. But what you get on your phone, or what I get on my phone, if I can find it, let's see, talk amongst yourselves.
Yes.
Let's sing a song.
Let's sing a song. Yeah. No, it's like, what I like about it is that it actually works. That exactly what they're saying it should do. You have now proven that it works like that, just on a cycle path. So it's not in a mall or in an airport, but it's just a cycle path. So
just
outside somewhere where there's not a high density of people. But even then, in 15 or 30 minutes, you have a couple of links to that network.
What I think is quite awesome is that it's, if you even cycle past it with, what is it, 15, 20 kilometers an hour.
It's fast enough to,
It's fast enough to
jumps on and off,
Yeah.
And I mean, there's people that cycle there, there's people that walk there, so I don't know, who was seeing it, but it was interesting to see that it worked exactly like they described it would work.
Yeah.
And I've seen other people doing these exact same tests on YouTube, and I just thought, I kind of want to see, because their tests were kind of contrived. They gave it to a friend, or they put it somewhere where they knew where it was going to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I thought, I'm just going to leave this outside and see what happens.
Yeah.
Apparently, I really deleted the screenshot of this because I can't find it.
Yeah.
But anyway, you get a little notification that comes up on the lock screen. And it says your AirTag was located here, and it says how many minutes ago or how many hours ago.
Cool.
And then when I went to find it, on the day that I went to find it, the location had moved.
Okay.
So I thought, well, has someone found this?
Yeah.
Or has it got moved by an animal or something?
Yeah.
Did some animal drag it off?
Okay. Next week, put a GoPro alongside it.
So I thought that's a good test, because the other part of the AirTag is, if you really don't know where it is, which is kind of the whole point, is trying to locate it again afterwards.
Yeah.
So once I got close to where it said it was in GPS, on my phone I said play a sound, and it was too far away, I couldn't hear it. But then I brought up the Find My AirTag, and it showed me, it said, you're close, but we can't get a direction. So I sort of went, forwards a little bit and then backwards a little bit until the number started to get smaller.
Yeah.
And as I got closer, it locked on and an arrow came on my phone. And then I pressed the button and said play a sound, and it had moved about 10 meters. Something had dragged it about 10 meters.
Okay.
And I found it out in the grass next to where, about 10 meters away from where I left it.
Wow. That's...
But yeah, it works. It's really cool. I'm trying to think of a practical use for it. But for example, if you have space under the saddle of your bicycle, for example, you could stick this under your bike, and no one would ever know it's there.
No.
So.
It's
pretty cool.
It is cool. I really like it. So yes, and you've proven a lot of how it works. What obviously intrigues me a lot now is what happened to it that it shifted its position 10 meters.
Yeah,
indeed.
This is really
because there's no. I left it with this, and there's no marks on this, so it's not like anything fit into this.
No.
It wasn't particularly windy, but I just wonder if. I wonder if something, because we have tons of wildlife around here. I wonder if something just decided it was food and picked it up and then went, no, this isn't food, and dropped it.
Yeah, just maybe a bird picked it up and dropped it. Yeah, or maybe even a dog or something could have, picked it up and dropped it and not really bit it.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like something.
No, it does smell.
It was eaten and.
It was eaten. It was eaten by a skunk, and then. Then he pooped it out again.
My AirTag has made an incredible voyage.
So, but maybe even it was a person who found it and saw it was an AirTag.
And they go, drop it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they just saw it and threw it away or something, and that's how it ended up. So, but anyway, able to find it.
Okay, cool.
Pretty neat device.
Okay, very cool.
Very very nice experiment. I said I would say it passed. But now the next experiment is, of course, you have these guys on YouTube who destroy everything with high pressure or whatever.
The bench press.
That's the next experiment, I would say.
I actually think my next experiment is I'm going to mail this. I might mail this to Paul.
Oh yes, see where it. Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
And
see.
I'll take it out of the strap. I'll just tape this into an envelope on its own
Yeah.
because it means if it goes near anybody, any mail worker that has an iPhone,
Yeah.
it'll tell me where it is.
Oh yeah.
And I should be able to track it when it gets close to, when it gets to Paul's house.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I might just put this in a padded envelope and mail it to Paul just to see what happens now.
That would be cool. Let's do that, and let's make a recurring item on the show.
Yeah. So do you have any iPhones in your house, Paul?
Obviously not.
You're all Android.
But there is. Well, there. I mean.
Probably the neighbors.
Yeah, the neighbors.
Yeah.
If you left this in your kitchen window at the front of the house, I bet anybody walking past outside with an iPhone, it would tell me where this is.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's just. It's a good experiment in itself. I mean, I don't have an iPhone.
I will mail this to you.
But that's cool. Okay.
The other thing we can do when it gets to you is you should be able to tap your phone to this.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Because even though you've got an Android, if you tap your phone to it and I mark it as lost, it should send you a message.
Okay, cool. Let's try that. All of that.
So,
I mean, I love doing that. That's a good
I'll
experience.
mail it to you and we'll see where it tracks.
Okay, cool. Really cool. Let's do that and make a recurring item of it. We'll draw a map where it all went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, thanks
I'll keep all the notification locations so I can track each point when I get a notification.
Yeah, we could draw a map of where it went. That's just so cool. Okay.
Okay.
Great stuff. Thanks for doing that because I think this is really an interesting test. I will try and do something to our YouTube version of this with tags and everything. Tags. No pun intended. To make it maybe more visible because this is actually, I think, really nice content for almost anyone who is tech minded to see. So
it will come to you in one of these,
cool.
In just a padded orange envelope.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's do that. Okay. Cool. Great. Okay, we've got only 50 minutes left, so we're not going to do everything. I think probably best is to shortly talk about classic Lego. It came along some weeks ago. We talked about Lego, what we still had, and you said, "Oh, I have this," and we had Technisch Lego. So I sent around some stuff. But then I thought that I also took some pictures a while ago of my actual classic Lego. I'll put it in now. Oh, I forgot to share my screen. Anyway, it's too late now. What I did is all my old Lego that I got when I was a kid, a long time ago, and I kept it all, and it was all in one box, but it was all in pieces. But luckily, also the drawings and the instructions, most of them were still there. So when Giorgio started to play around with Lego, I took that whole box down and I started rebuilding the things that I still had. And I was back then I was autistic enough to not break the piece with the stickers on it. So I kept those parts together mostly, and they were still okay. Obviously in a bad condition, but I could still use those. So one of the things I did was the bus. You can see a lot of pictures of the bus going by now, which was really great stuff. But if you see, even if this is 45 years old probably. That Lego bus, and
we can't see your screen, so I have no idea what you're looking at.
Let me. I thought that you would maybe let me share the screen with you. Start sharing. Is it working? Can you see the?
Yes.
Yep.
Ah, yes, that Lego bus.
Oh, something weird is happening with. Let me try and fix that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oscar's gone on a wild ride.
Oscar just grew a lot.
Try to
Okay.
Get the bus.
I think
I remember that Lego
I've done it
bus.
now. Okay, so that Lego bus. Okay, you've got it too. Well, this is about probably 45 years old.
Yeah, I don't still have it, but yeah, that is. I remember that.
I would think. So let me see if I can somehow get this to play more than just the bus, because I don't know why it's just showing the bus. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on. Here we go with the problems, because normally this would show all the pictures and not only the bus, obviously. And now
Because it really likes the bus.
I can't, for some reason. I can't. Let me try and fix this shortly. Let's see if I can make this happen.
The thing that was fun about that bus, just while you're trying to fix this, was the top of the bus was made out of the roof pieces from the house models that they used to have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree.
This was before they started to do a lot of custom Lego pieces, so they used a lot of what they have. So a lot of that is like Lego house windows and Lego house archways and Lego house rooftops.
Yes.
And it's all old classic Lego that they sort of assembled together to form completely different kits. I just thought that was kind of neat at the time. The only really custom things on there were probably the wheels.
Yeah, true. And with the little the fences and stuff like that, they did a lot with that too. I think that there are some on the bus too. So let me try and find this. I don't know why this isn't doing the whole slideshow, but I've got so many things. And the point that I was going to make is that it was still a lot of fun to build. Even after 45 years, the building of the things, even with the old bricks, was still really cool. And okay, for some reason it doesn't find any of those pictures anymore, which is weird. But okay, maybe next time. I've got a lot of pictures. For some reason, this doesn't work anymore, and it did before. So it lost the pictures for some reason. So anyway, so let's move on to something else. Next week, I'm gonna try and get all these other pictures, because the point I was going to make is that it's still fun to do. It still fits like it's new. So it's no loose bricks, no wobbly things. It all fits like it did. Almost nothing has broken. Even the little traffic signs, they're still there. The plastic is still good. The white is not exactly white anymore, but still possible. Yeah. The quality of these things is just amazing. And then Giorgio, my son, is having just as much fun using this old type Lego than he is with all the new, city and all the other types of Lego, which is also a great thing in itself. So I don't know. They're trying to do all kinds of things at Lego to be more modern, but I'm wondering if that's really necessary, because
that's a good question.
I think the playability of it is great, and obviously if the quality is so good, nobody will buy Lego. Maybe that's the whole thing, because if everybody keeps their old Lego bricks, they can keep building forever and it will never die. And they will go bankrupt because nobody buys Lego anymore. But I think there are other ways to do it. I think what they're doing with creators and with all the new technical Lego stuff is all good. But what they're trying to do next to that with apps and all these weird things, I don't think
they need to stick with just bricks and building. Some of the electronic stuff is kind of fun, but wow. Oscar's really big again.
Yeah, on that one. I don't know why that keeps happening, but Oscar is back to his normal size again. But but anyway,
overcompensating.
Yeah, in this I don't know what it is. It's weird because we can keep talking about how weird it is, and I have to resize this one too on the other thing I'm doing. But anyway, so maybe next week we'll do a 5-minute slideshow of all the other stuff. But for now, this is it. We've got 5 minutes, and it's just enough for 2 things. My progress, which is almost none, but still on the plane. And because I don't have the time. And then we maybe should do a memory of the week, which we should, maybe Oscar can think of something. Anyway, the plane. What I've done is last time the paintwork has been done, and I told you about how I fixed the edges of that, and I started doing the decals. And one thing that I noticed is that I think the white cross should be a little bit bigger, ideally. But the decal was this size. And I would have liked it to be a little bit bigger, to be honest. But still, this is the decal that was there, and I just put it on. It went on without too much problems, and I just love the way already, how it looks. So that's one thing. And what I did, here's the tail one.
Yeah,
it's the round. That one was round because they had pictures of that, which begs the question if these were round too. But still, so that's good. And I tried. I started to do some of the weathering, and I don't know if that's if you can see that on the camera, but I've weathered it down a little bit, made it a little bit dirty. Also on the wings, but it's a little bit. So I mean, here by the engine compartment it's a bit more, but in the rest it's just like maybe you can see it, I don't know, let's see if I can turn it in a way that's visible. Well, maybe
Very hard to see.
A little bit. It's hard to see. Anyway, I've weathered it so that the panel lines are a little bit more visible, and it's pretty good. So I'll try again and some. Hopefully this year I will be able to finish it, because I just don't have time. It's just crazy. I need to rethink my priorities, because it's just no way I have time to do this. But anyway, so that was the progress of the little plane. I can now start doing putting the wings on and the landing gear, and then it's probably gonna go pretty quickly. So hopefully that'll help. So that's about it. And if we have a memory, we can still do some sort of memory. Maybe Chris has something, or Oscar has thought of something.
I came up with one.
Great.
I came up with one.
I knew.
Yep. It's where I was living when I was young. There was actually the Boezemweg. There was an industry part in the city, in the village, and there were 2 major truck companies. And how were they called? Peter Post. It was one, and the other one was. It were blue trucks. I do not know anymore what they had tankers, but. I really liked the trucks when I was young. So my complete room before it changed into Pamela Anderson posters, it were trucks.
It went from trucks to Pamela Anderson. Yeah.
But and then the American
trucks to Pamela Anderson all in one
guy.
Yeah. Just in one sentence, no problem. Okay. But. So somehow they were. I think there was one period they were both in my room.
Pamela Anderson driving a truck.
It's So I had also the big posters of American trucks like Kenworth and Peterbilt and really the old ones. And then when I grew bigger and was able to make bigger Lego models. I really tried to build Lego trucks, and I think for next time I will send them to you, Paul. I have two images, dias which my dad made a long time ago, of course, in the
Slides.
in the late 80s somewhere.
Slides,
Yeah,
not computer
slides,
slides, but
really.
real slides.
Yeah.
Yes.
For a real projector. Yeah. So I actually I put them under a microscope to digitalize.
Oh, you
them,
did?
So yeah.
That's great. Okay, that's cool.
To get a high resolution,
Cool.
digital
Oh,
image
cool.
out of it. So I will send them to
Okay.
you for maybe
Let's
for
do
next
that.
week. But so and I was always going over there to the truck show with a friend, and he was also into Lego. So we started building trucks ourselves in Lego, and they were so big and heavy that they actually were not able to drive because then just the wheels did whoosh underneath it.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah, you had to do with the
really
parts you
fun.
had. You know, it's just that's one of the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That was part of the challenge, really, to make something out of things that you had, and sometimes you had to do constructions just because you didn't have the right parts. So that's great. Yeah. Well, that let's keep this Lego classic thing and take that with us to next week. And obviously, we will have a lot of other things to discuss because we've made it.
This will be on
That's
its way
great.
to you
I
in the next
will send you the others details, and let's see how that goes. So I think the only thing that's left now is to thank everybody that is watching, the live watchers. I don't know how many those are. Also, people on YouTube who see this. Thank you for watching this. I would like to know a little bit more about. I mean, feedback. I don't have feedback, and we're mostly doing this for ourselves, to be honest. So if it's bad feedback, I will just ignore it.
We're doing stuff ourselves. We're doing crazy.
So but no, let's serious. If you see this and you watch it every week, why? You know, do you think it's entertaining? Do you just know one of us and think I just need to watch it because if they ask me something about it, I'll look stupid if I don't know? Be honest, you know. Or if there's anything that you say,
Did you find the channel by
it's
mistake?
too short, it's too long, I don't like the subjects. I don't know, anything. As long as not rude, we will try and do something with that, because it's just, you know, I'd like to know if we can make this maybe better, maybe get a bigger audience, because it would be nice, obviously, to have more than just 3 or 4 people watching this.
Don't worry, the internet will tell you if it doesn't
I know.
like you.
I've been there, done that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and thanks Chris and Oscar.
So give us a
thumbs up,
and
follow,
subscribe,
subscribe.
Or
Subscribe here,
whichever corner it's in.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what to do. Bye bye.
Next time.